So you watched Yanfei's basics guide, and now you want to know a little bit more about her for how to build like mid to late game. So that is what we're going to do in this video. We are going to look at how to build Yanfei a little bit past the basics, what I like to call the artifact grinding hell video. Now, if you are on TikTok and you're watching this video, I do cut a lot of things out of especially these videos. So do be sure to go check out the long version, the full version here. If you're already here, welcome. Please subscribe. Thank you. Charismatic. Okay, so let's do a refresher on this Yanfei and look at the build of this Yanfei. She's level 70 out of 70 with 13,000 HP, almost 1700 attack with 93 EM, split of 63 over 191 with 100 energy recharge and 73 pyro damage bonus. For a weapon, a level 83 still with Zith, R5. For artifacts, 2-piece Crimson, 2-piece Gladiator. We'll look at these artifacts a little bit later in the video. She is C6. And her talents are going to be 6, 9, 7. Now let's go look a little bit more in depth at the team that we finished off the last video with. So this team is my Dia team, my Faria team, as I call it, Farina and Dia team, right? And I just slotted in Yanfei in for Dia. And this team works really, really well. Of course, using Farina and Benny together is always a really, really good combination for characters that scale off of attack, like Yanfei here. And then, of course, Kazuha swirling to get the pyro damage stronger is also really, really good. This team, you can take basically any character that scales off of attack that's not like Geo or Animo, slot them in for Yanfei, and Kazuha's going to Kazuha can swirl, and they're going to do a lot of damage, right? So this is just a really good team overall. I put a lot of time into this team. It's good enough that my C4 now Dia runs it very, very well. But essentially, we want to use Farina's burst, Farina's minions, Benny's burst, and then Kazuha's skill swirling the pyro to allow Yanfei to come onto the field, use her burst, and just go through as many instances of charge attack damage as we can, and just constantly be charge attack damaging, so that way we can do a ton of pyro damage. This is also going to let Farina's little minions get some vapes off, but it's also going to protect because Yanfei C4, or well C5, she's going to get a shield, so she's going to get some protection, so we don't have to worry as much about Farina taking too much of the HP, and Benny's going to, of course, be healing everybody, so this is overall a really, really good team. Yanfei is going to appreciate the attack from Gladiators and the pyro damage from Crimson, as well as, of course, the attack buff from Bennett himself. Now let's look at the individual artifacts on this Yanfei. Now, if you're in a team that's a little bit more dedicated to Vaporize, I would probably do like 4-piece Crimson versus 2-piece, but this is one of my better sets for Yanfei right here. So crit rate, crit damage, EM. The EM is going to be good for Vapes. Other than that, it's not really going to help much. That flat defense, if that was attack percent, this would be phenomenal. HP percent, which isn't going to hurt because she's got the shield, but we really don't want the HP, we really want attack. Crit rate, crit damage, and then flat defense again. Attack percent, ER, some EM, something like that. Attack sands, which is going to be really good. Crit damage, HP again, because she has that shield. It's not like horrible, but it's not what we want. EM, flat attack. If that flat attack had been crit rate or crit or ER, this would have been a really, really good artifact. For the goblet, of course, a pyro goblet, a crit rate, flat defense, attack percent, crit damage. If that flat defense had been ER, this would have been a really, really good piece. And this is actually my Dia's piece, so if this was ER, it'd be even better because Dia needs as much ER as she can get. And then for circlet, crit rate, because we are running Widzith, which is a crit damage weapon. Flat HP, EM, okay. Crit damage, okay. Defense percent, we want attack percent there, right? We want to make sure that we are getting the best artifacts, the best substats. Of course, we can't choose our substats, so sometimes we just got to deal with what we're given, right? And as you can see, I've tried to deal with what I've been given on some of these artifacts. Now, for weapons, Yanfei is running a Widzith, level 83 for some reason still, R5. Widzith can be a really, really good weapon because of the crit damage, but the Widzith introduces a bit of luck, right? You can have one of 3 effects take place. Yanfei can use the attack increase, Yanfei can use the pyro damage increase, the EM, outside of a Vapor Melt team, she can't use it, but it's also a ton of EM. It's not like Miko that can use this weapon and use all 3 of them. that amount of EM, you're going to get, as Zucchini says, a diminishing return, right? You don't want that much EM on a Vapor and Melt team. It's much better if you get the attack one or the pyro one. Now, Solar Pearl is another option. This is a really, really good one. This is going to get up crit rate, so we would do a crit damage sands most likely, or a crit damage circlet, sorry. Its passive is also really good. Your normal attacks are going to increase your skill and burst damage, and your skill and burst are going to increase your normal attack damage, which also means an increase in charged attack damage. And because Yanfei is a character that uses all of her attacks, her normal, her charge, her skill, and her burst to a great effect, this is a really, really good option for her because it's just going to raise the damage of everything, and you're cycling through all of them fairly regularly. So this is going to get up her damage. Your next one is going to be Skyward Atlas. If you've lost some of your 5-star pulls, then you might have a Skyward Atlas. This is going to get her attack up a ton and some extra pyro damage. Now, you do have 2 craftable options. Mappa Mar, which is here, which is going to get up Elemental Mastery, so good for Vapor Melt. But triggering an elemental reaction is going to increase her pyro damage even more. Right, at R5, it's going to increase it by 32%, which is going to be really, really good. Your other option is going to be Flowing Purity, which is going to increase attack, and it's going to give you an elemental damage bonus, right? You do have to contend with the Bond of Life, so just run her with a healer to kind of overcome that. But even that's going to give you more of an attack bonus. So Flowing Purity is going to be your best 4-star weapon and your best free-to-play option. Going back to Artifact real quick, another option that you can do if you're running her in a Vapor and Melt team is going to be Wander's Troop, right? You get these from defeating bosses, so there's a decent chance that you might just have a good Wander's Troop laying around, and because Yanfei is a Catalyst user, she can take use of this 4-piece to great effect. So next we're actually going to talk about a Yanfei Chevy overloaded team. So this is going to be an all 4-star team, and for that we are going to run Chevy, Yanfei, Fischl, and Beidou, right, allowing for a lot of overloaded reactions, so that way we can keep our enemies weak to Electro and Pyro through Chevy's passives. Chevy's going to be our healer and our attack buffer. Then Beidou, Fischl, and Yanfei are just all going to be doing a lot of damage. This is a really, really fun team, and I've actually used this team similarly, kind of, with Arlecchino instead of Yanfei, and it's a lot of fun. Chevy is going to allow for Fischl, Beidou, and Yanfei to all do a lot of damage because of how Chevy works. Also, Yanfei getting her shield from her C4 is going to help a lot because Chevy does heal a fair good amount, but it's not like team-wide healing, right? It's only your on-field character. So Beidou having a shield from her burst because she's C6, Yanfei having a shield from her burst because she's over C4, means that I don't have to worry about my characters losing a ton of HP, right? Which is going to be really, really good. Also, Chevy can kind of help battery Yanfei with the weapon that I have on her, which is the Magical Roll Staff. Yanfei can swap on the field after Chevy uses her hold skill and get those energy particles, and Chevy still gets energy through her weapon's passive. So this overall, this is a really interestingly good team. I actually really, really like Chevy teams, and I like Chevy teams with Fischl and with Beidou, to kind of swapping out who my main on-field damage dealer is. It's a ton of fun. I really, really like teams with Chevy in it. Now, a reason that Yanfei is actually on the current banner is because of the newest character, Emily, who you want to cause burning with, right? To make Emily stronger. Yanfei applies a lot of pyro, and Yanfei can actually be one of, if not your, on-field pyro damage dealer to run with Emily to constantly keep the enemies burning. So this can be a really, really good option to throw in there with Emily if you don't have another pyro character to keep the burning effect going. Now that is going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, do be sure to leave it down in the comments. Myself or someone else will try to answer it, and I'll see you in the next one.